So today we have the ultimate Sunday brunch drink, although you can drink it at any time. And what have we got for you today? Well, it's a version of the Red Snapper. And a Red Snapper is a gin-based Bloody Mary. Now, just to be clear, people love the Bloody Mary, but there are a lot of people who love the idea of a Bloody Mary, but actually aren't that keen on the neutral flavours, the neutral aromas of vodka. And actually, this is for them, especially for this audience who clearly love gin. Now, obviously, what we're doing is we are using the Worthing Orange Blush Gin to give another level of sophistication to this drink. And because of that, we are calling it the Orange and Red Snapper. So let me take you through it. As with any kind of Bloody Mary type drink, really, it is up to you how you make it, the taste, etc. All of those elements, pretty much everyone likes it different to everybody else. But what I will do is I will share with you some ideas. I'll also share with you what I consider to be a fabulous recipe for this drink. And if you want to tweak it, it's entirely up to you, of course. So do you shake it or do you stir it? Well, actually, the majority of people who drink Bloody Marys stir their Bloody Marys. And I would say by far the smaller proportions shake them. I have to say, if I make them for myself, I actually shake them. But when I'm making them for other people, I tend to stir them because that tends to be a softer way of blending it. And that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to take my mixing glass. And obviously, we are going to start by adding the alcohol. So the alcohol is going to be our Worthing Orange Blush Gin. And it really does bring, with these deep orange notes, a fabulous take on this Red Snapper. So I'm going to put in 40 ml. I don't want to go quite the way up to a full double shot, but 40 ml is going to be enough for us. So let's add that. Now I'm going to add the tomato juice, and the tomato juice really entirely up to you, but I always say it is worth spending a bit more money on a quality tomato juice. In fact, I've recently taken, rather than buying tomato juice, getting really decent chopped plum tomatoes in cans and blending those up. But I am using a tomato juice today. It's a good quality one. And I'm going to add 100 ml of tomato juice. So there's 50. There we go. And there is another 50. Very nice. Okay, so I'm probably going to add a little bit more tomato juice in a second, but what I want to do is I want to see where I get to with all my spices. So spices, we can go in a number of different directions. In fact, thousands of different directions. I've seen so many versions of this drink with the most ridiculous things in there. But I guess, if you like it, then why not pop it in? I'm going to stick with the things that I know work very nicely. So here I've got some onion salt, which is actually delicious in one of these in small quantity. I've got some celery salt, which is a much more popular and widely used ingredient. And then I've got a ton of paprika here. Not that I'm going to use a ton of paprika here, I just kind of sort of spilt it onto the plate really. So let's start by putting a little bit of each one of these in. So a small amount of our paprika, a little bit more of our celery salt because I really love the flavour of celery salt coming through. There we go. And a small amount of onion salt as well. All right, so 3 nice spices that we got in there. The next thing I'm going to do is going to add the stuff that people tend to recognise more over than anything else you would put in this style of drink. One is some hot pepper sauce. So I guess you all know the name Tabasco, and Tabasco is the one that people associate with this, but it doesn't have to be that. And I'm using this Frank's Red Hot Extra Hot sauce, which actually I find works really well. And I'm going to put in 3 to 4 dashes. I'll just see how much they come out. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll put it in 4th. Okay, good. Then I've got some Worcester sauce. This one is a gluten-free Worcester sauce, but still the unmistakable aromas of the Worcester sauce that you love. And I'm going to put in 3 big dashes of that. So 1, 2, 3. That's good. Really nice. And then the other thing that I put in is I like to add a bit more spice and a bit more heat with a tiny amount of Dijon mustard. So let me just get that with my spoon. So I'm saying about that much. Just drop that in. That's very good. And for me, that's enough for the spices. Now you can go anywhere with this. There are so many spices that you can put in. Sometimes I grind fresh herbs into there as well. Just experiment, play. You might actually come up with an award-winning recipe for this drink. But for now, we're good. Now I need some citrus in here. Citrus is very important, and I've got half a fresh lemon down here. So I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice in. Some people actually prefer lime, and some people actually only like a tiny amount of citrus. Personally, I think this really needs a decent amount of citrus. So I'm going to squeeze the whole of this lemon half, which is going to be around about 10 ml. And that's quite enough sharpness for me, but it's enough to really cut through all the spices that are in there as well. Okay, we're good. So I've got this together. I'm just going to give this a little stir without the ice. Just want to make sure everything is blended in before I add the ice. So let's go down to my ice chest. Let's get some ice in there. Bring the ice up, that's nice. And then what I also want to do is put some fresh ice ready in the glass that I'm going to use. So let me get the ice up as well. Bring that to about 3/4 of the way up, I think. There we go, and we're ready to go. So now I'm going to stir with the ice. So I'm bringing all these flavours together. Remember, this isn't a definitive guide. This is simply one recipe that I know works very well. It just occurred to me that one of the herbs that works really well is some freshly chopped dill. So if you want to experiment a bit further, give that a try. Okay, we're good. This is cold. This is nicely blended. I think we're going to strain this into our glass. So let's get the strainer on top and start to strain over the new fresh ice that's in our 12-ounce highball. And you can see that it's looking really nice and thick. It's spicy, a wonderful tomato aroma. It's quite delicious. Haven't needed to add any more tomato juice. It's the perfect combination and balance. And there we go. All right, so there are obviously various ways that we can garnish this. I'm going to keep it really simple indeed. I'm going to start with some celery, which I think you should always have some celery in here. And what I've done is, rather than take one of the big, thick, chunky celery sticks from outside a bunch, I've gone right into the middle and got the sort of younger, sweetest ones with a little leaf on top there. So I'm just going to pop that in the side like so. Down here I've got another lemon. I'm just going to cut a little lemon wheel actually off of here, and I'm going to pop that over the side. So let me just cut a little slice into that. Let's pop the lemon wheel over here. Let's get that next to our celery stick. Again, you can go absolutely mad with this. I actually have a book which illustrates some of the most outrageous Bloody Marys and red snappers ever created. And they've got burgers on the top, they've got whole lobsters hanging off. I mean, you can really knock yourself out. But for me, just keep it nice and simple, at least keep it easy to drink. I'm also going to take some of this paprika, and I'm going to take just a pinch of it with my fingers. I'm going to sprinkle paprika over the leaves, and hopefully I'll be able to get in close enough for you to see with the camera. But what it does is it leaves a really nice looking red speckle over the top of those celery leaves. Final thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some ground black pepper. I'm just going to grind a little bit of that on the top. And it's not that I want to be drinking the black pepper as soon as I drink the drink. It's actually that when somebody takes a Bloody Mary, often they take the straw and they give it a little stir, and this gives them something to stir into it as well. So not a Bloody Mary, a Bloody Mary gin version. It's a red snapper, but of course, because we're using our Worthing orange blush gin, it's our orange and red snapper. And there you go. So I would say, give this a go, transform your Sundays, and as with all the other drinks that we share with you, if you make it, send us a picture, let us know how you've done. The orange and red snapper.